Hey, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Dr. TK. And so we are going to be talking about why you, as a mental health provider, want to be in the room, especially going into 2026, because I know that over the last 5 years of being in the mental health field, especially before 2020, is we definitely saw the benefit of connection. And this is not just only mental health events, it's just life events. It is spiritual events, it's community events. And we have really been so disconnected and then only focusing on our work and then of course family and things like that, that we have missed the opportunity to actually, I call it, commune and mastermind with one another. And so let's talk about why we need to be in physical rooms in close proximity, of course, with people who are like-minded with us, who are go-getters and cheerleaders like us, who not just want to see clearly yourselves win, but also see other people win around you. So let's talk about masterminds. Let's talk about live events for 2026. So, our in person event is called the VIP Experience, also known as our Therapist Mastermind. Now, these masterminds in the past, over the last 6 years, have included, but not limited to, our actual current VIP mastermind clients. And then sometimes we will offer, depending on the context of the event, limited seats for clinicians who are not in our mastermind, but who want access to a 48-hour transformation and in person coaching. And some of our current clients have been to these events in which they wanted to test drive the car to see what it felt like to be coached and mentored by myself. So in 2026, we are returning back to Los Angeles County, Southern California. And we will be meeting more boardroom style for a total of 2 days. So, the goal of this event is to help mental health providers, therapists like yourself, connect with one another, as I said in the intro. And more importantly, my goal is to help you see the possibilities of moving and shifting from only one to one services into one to many with hands on guidance. And so, this particular event is designed specifically for therapists so that you can, in the room, map out your launch process, whether it's a product or a service, build it out with a timeline and make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to break it down. And we'll also talk about the launch processes for scalable services or a digital product so that you can be accountable to yourself when you leave and have more clarity. So, because we've hosted these events long enough, if you know me, I'm a very systems person. And I feel like if me or my team has to repeat something every single time we make an announcement like a live event via email or in my DMs, it's best if I just create a system for it, rinse and repeat, and I do a FAQ. So I've also been told recently that when I go into detail related to a program or event that I am hosting on the podcast, it gives people the in-depth understanding beyond the enrollment page of what they're signing up for. So it goes hand in hand. And I'm even thinking about maybe I'll link this to the enrollment page so that somebody can like follow along when they're reading the enrollment page. Okay. So here's some basic FAQs that have come up. Here are the most common questions we receive. Is it a virtual event? No. Will there be a replay? No. The transformation happens in the room. This is not a virtual event because we need to come back in the room. Is this a course or will I get a course when I leave? No, your course is live in the room, right? And let's be real. How many of you have bought courses and never finished it? Matter of fact, you never even logged in. Okay. So do you need an established business? Heck yes. The reason being is that anybody can become an entrepreneur. Special people become business owners. When it comes down to doing one-on-one therapy, let's be real, you got 50% of the job down packed. You can open up a private practice with 50% knowledge, aka you're a good therapist, and have no knowledge about systems, finances, but you can probably still make money, right? When it comes down to carving out a certain percentage of your time to do one-to-many services, and again, I'm going to give some case examples before we wrap up, you really got to understand your time management, your energy capacity, your finances, and you cannot be dreaming small. I want people in the room that are big thinkers and big dreamers. So another question that comes up is, will this help me choose, design, or launch my one-to-many product or service? And the answer is yes. And that is the entire point. We want you to literally map out your entire launch process and do it in the room. So another question comes up, will you be teaching and coaching and reviewing plans? So will I be teaching you? Yes. Will I be coaching you in the room based off your questions? Yes. Will I be reviewing the work that you've done in the room because of the way that we structure your activities? Yes. Will you have homework to do when you leave? Of course, right? You're building a business. And last question is, do I have to come prepared or what does that look like? So I am going to break that down. But yes, we actually will help you prepare for the event before you arrive with particular activities so that you're not walking in blind. And it is imperative that you review what we send. So let's now talk about the two different types of mental health providers that have been in our rooms over the last 6 years. So you may fall into group one or group two. So, group one are those who are exploring one to many options for the very first time. So, if this is you, you really want to do that pre work and get very clear because my expectation is that when you walk in the room, you are only supposed to be asking questions and building out a launch for that one product or service. I can guarantee you, if you become double and triple minded, you would have wasted your investment because you're going to be too overwhelmed. I want you to be happily overwhelmed, but like, oh my gosh, this is so excited. I can't wait to implement. I can't wait to launch. I can't wait to build it out again when I go home. But like, let me slow my process down and let me rewrite my notes versus, oh man, I left the event and now I'm still confused about what launch I want to, what product I want to launch. Absolutely not. And those who have came in the past have actually followed my instructions. Okay. So you got to follow the instructions. Group number two are those who have already created or launched a service or a product, but you need some refinement. You want to relaunch it for the new year. You want to know and test out your thoughts, questions, and ideas in the room with other people. Maybe you got to elevate your systems because the last time that maybe I helped you launch it, it was your very first launch, also known as a beta. Maybe you've clearly received testimonials and feedback from your clients or your customers, and now you want to take it up a notch. So we have had clinicians that come to almost all of our live experiences. So at the end of the day, both groups benefit tremendously from in-person feedback and collaboration with other therapists in the room. And even though they may be coming in at two different phases, they are very much experiencing a very huge transformation. And again, this is completely different than virtual coaching or a virtual CE workshop, okay? Now, as a disclaimer, this is still the FAQs, but clarification for alumni, whether you have coached with us or been at a live event, okay? You are still eligible to attend this event. We don't have a hard, fast rule that says you can only come to one live event. Okay. We want you to get the transformation in the room for 48 hours. So we welcome you if you are a current or past client in one of our programs. The only thing that I would ask for our coaching clients is that, for example, if you are just beginning your solo private practice, and you are still wrapping your mind around marketing and making sure that you can get consistent one-on-one clients, this might not be the time for you to jump ship and say, I want to skip over to one of many because it looks more promising. I can earn more money. I hate to break it to you. It's also a second system. It's also different marketing. It's a different part of your brain from a creativity perspective that now you're going to have to split your time. And if you cannot do that energetically, I would say don't sign up. I want to be very, very open and honest with that. But bottom line is, if you are our current or past alumni client, whether it's in a coaching program or in a VIP experience, or even you've been in our mastermind, you are welcome to come for a refresh. So now let's break down the structure of the event. So this is a live, in-person, hands-on mentorship experience. You will be working on your laptop, on your tablet, your device that you choose. We are intentional with choosing locations that have Wi-Fi accessibility. Bring your chargers. Bring your cell phone fully charged to create content of you creating your process in the room. You will be developing your offer and launch plan in real time, not when you leave. You are going to get direct support from me and other people that are attending in the room. You are going to walk away with clarity, direction of what's next for you, and you will have a mapped out strategy of your launch, not a notebook just full of highlights and ideas that you will never use. So this is not a passive learning experience. I don't want you coming here just being a student and just taking notes. This is an implementation boardroom mastermind with strategy and support. So who needs to be in the room outside of the two groups that I mentioned earlier? So if any of these apply to you, you're welcome and eligible to be in the room. If you are clearly a mental health provider and you want to stop relying solely on one-on-one for income, we got a spot for you. If you want to create, launch, or relaunch a scalable stream of income, maybe you want mentorship in the room on the spot so that you can see expedited processes and strategy happen in real life time. Maybe you even looked at our mastermind, but you wanted to test drive the car first. And a lot of our clients have done that. And then they work with us as soon as they leave because they realize, oh, wait a minute, I can get this for how long of length of time? And this is the kind of support that I would need to actually launch and launch and launch again so that I can make more and more and more money. Yes. So also, if you want to turn your expertise clearly into a product or service, like a virtual workshop, a consulting offer, a digital product offer, then you definitely want to be in the room. And I love designing a life first business. I apply the work-life integration model into my business. And so if you want time, location freedom, I am definitely the mentor for you. And if you want hands-on clarity, real-time support, and a actual plan, I just don't want you to have notes so that you can execute as soon as you leave the room. I would highly recommend that you save your spot because spots are very, very, very limited. Okay. So, in terms of the 2-day outline, you will be responsible for, but I will give you the tools for mapping out your entire launch plan. You're going to create your marketing plan in the room. You'll talk about messaging of how you talk to your ideal clients through your marketing in the room. We're going to build out your actual timeline, which is why you need your tablets or your laptop. We're going to eliminate procrastination and confusion saying, I'm going to do it later. Nope, you're about to do it right now. Right? I will put on some music. You're going to do it in that moment. You're going to design your irresistible offer using our framework. It doesn't matter if you have a digital product or a service or consulting. All you have to be clear on is who your ideal client is. And again, we're going to give you the pre-work so that you can start working on that before you get there. I don't want you to come into the room saying, oh, I don't know what product I want to focus on. I don't know who I want to serve. Nope. I need you to know that because everybody who has attended our live events has followed those instructions and they have seen massive results in the room. We'll also have you walk out with a complete full launch plan you can implement the moment you leave the room. Okay. So here are some examples of this year. We've had attendees come from as early as 2018 up until 2025, but I'm going to give you the most recent because I know sometimes when you hear about these things and people have been doing it for a long time, let's be all the way real. You're like, show me results from like this year because of what's been happening in the world. Okay, well, fine. 2025. Okay. So we had about 11 to 12 therapists come to New York, and then we had a room of 4 people come to Vegas, okay? So we had a total of 2 live events in 2025, no matter what was happening around us, okay? And these were still the outcomes. One person came and they mapped out their entire anger management course, including marketing and enrollment pathways, because there are different ways to launch a course. We had a person tap into their holistic services and they built out months of marketing and built out a system plan for a full calendar of wellness events. And they already have made progress toward their first event for 2026. We also had somebody in the room in 2025 that planned out a consulting stream of income. They are already certified. They need to get a second level of certification so that they can oversee these other people in this particular area of expertise. So we help them build out their launch process as well. We had another person actually that was our past mastermind client. So for my alumni, they wanted to come to New York and they wanted to refresh their digital product mentorship. They receive real life feedback. And what's the beauty part about these 2 alumni is that they just so happen to be working with pre-licensed providers at different levels. One of them worked with people who are about to graduate. The other one worked with individuals who are writing dissertation processes. Okay. Plus they got other products and services. And so the one with digital products, she had launched it before, but it was nice for her to be in a room with individuals. And some people were pre-licensed that were in the rooms, but they still got businesses. And it was nice for us to give feedback around, okay, well, if you're, talking to students, or for me, I have a doctorate degree, let's talk about their mindset so that we can talk to that when we're marketing. And she was like, okay, so she took that into account and she was able to relaunch her product or service. The other person, they had just wrapped up their launch. So not only were they able to talk about how our mentorship and the mastermind helped them see things they could not see, but they also mapped out their launch for the 4th quarter and for 2026 for their digital product. So what will you receive before, during, and after the event? Well, I already talked about during. So before the event, you will receive a private podcast feed. It will be audio similar to this right now that you're listening to. There may be a link, so also make sure you check the show notes. I will tell you though, there might be a video screen sharing if I really need you to see something, but I don't want you to get, in a space where you treat this like an online course. I want you to look at the prep work as this is my mentor for the next 48 hours when we have this live event. I need to come in excited, but also very crystal clear so that I will not get sidetracked when I'm in that room, so that I can take full advantage of the mentorship in the room. So you're going to get a private podcast feed for your onboarding experience so that you can get primed for things that I need you to know before you come into the room. Like I said, during, you're going to get real-time mentorship, implementation, feedback, and development. And then after, of course, continuity of care. So before you leave the event, you're going to be able clearly to ask questions for direction of what is next. For some people, it's just going to be implementation. For some people, it's going to be, I need to take a week because I need to map this out and talk to my team. For some people, it's going to be, I really want to join the mastermind. Do you have a spot for me? Can I apply? Whichever it is, I become your case manager and I will redirect you, whether it's to my stuff and or systems or processes that will be beneficial for you. So these are your next steps. There are very, very limited spots. I'm not talking about 50 spots. I'm not talking about 20. I'm low-key not even talking about 10, okay? So there are very limited spots at the time of you hearing this podcast episode. As a disclaimer, if the page says enrollment closed, enrollment is closed and I am not finding a new space to expand the spot. So I want to speak only to the mental health therapists who are ready to actually get real results. So this event is not designed for people who want to think about moving beyond one-on-one services. This is for the mental health provider who wants an outcome within 48 hours of leaving this event. If you are planning to launch something 6 months past when we meet in person, this event is not for you. The event will take place in the early spring of 2026. Check out the enrollment page in the show notes to get more information. The space that we are hosting, our boardroom, is only for mental health therapists who are ready to build, decide, execute, and to move. So when you invest at this level, you are actually signaling to your higher level self, I am ready for clarity. I'm here for it. I'm ready for some support. I don't feel like doing this by myself and running in circles. That's the definition of insanity. And I am ready, more importantly, to stop wasting my time, people. So this event is for the therapist who values precision, proximity, and speed. If those three don't match who you are today, because you're not just going to become that person overnight. It's not new year, new me. You should already have identified like, yo, I want to be in that room, and go ahead and save your spot, okay? But if you value precision, proximity, and speed, you have to be in the room. If you desire to shortcut trial and error, meaning making so many mistakes on your own, and step into a room built to accelerate your next level, this is the right room and investment for you. So how do you register? You go down to the show notes and you click the link. If it lets you register, don't say I'm going to come back to this next week. Next week, it might not be available. After you register, you will be redirected to a thank you page. I really want you to pay close attention. When you get to that thank you page, you snapshot it, you write down the email address on it. You're going to go check your email. I say this because some people type too quickly and they don't put in the right email address. That is very important because if you don't receive a confirmation within 15 minutes, and check your promotional tab if you're using Yahoo, especially Gmail. Our system, if you have not interacted with us a lot, it will automatically put us in the promotional tab and we will get lost with Instagram, TikTok, and all these other notifications that honestly you can care less about, okay? So we will put what you want to search in your promotional tab for how we put the subject line in the email, if that makes sense. So we already know this is a thing, okay? But you will go to the thank you page. You will be given specific instructions, and we will then start the onboarding process with an email. Now, in the email, you're simply going to have like save the date, Start looking for your flight. Now, because of the location that we're having it at, you can choose to fly into Los Angeles International Airport, Long Beach Airport. Orange County Airport is a little further, but you can still fly there. But most people will typically fly into Long Beach, which is in very close proximity to where we will be, and/or Los Angeles International Airport, because also you want to consider what you want to do before or after the event, because we also recommend that you get in town a full day before, not a red eye coming in from the flight into the event. No, no, no. And you ideally, unless you do a red eye going home, I would encourage you to mastermind with people on the last day, go to dinner with each other, figure out where y'all all stand at because we're in a boardroom. So we will give you direction in terms of what are some hotels that are major chains that are near, but you can feel free to stay wherever you want. We've had clinicians who stay with their family members because we are in Southern California. So people know people out here, and that's perfectly fine. Because of where we are centrally located, there are plenty of small sub cities that are available. So it's really about what kind of experience you also want to have before or after the event. Okay. But bottom line is check your email for your next steps. Starting in January, we're going to send out an email and we're going to start priming you with a Telegram group because that will become our main mode of communication outside of our private podcast feed. And we're also going to start dripping some mini activities, not like 5,000, but like maybe up to 3 activities that we want you to work on before you come to the event. So in closing, I will see you in Southern California for 2026. And yeah, subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube. Check out other in-person masterminds that we've had. There's a whole mastermind live event therapist experience event where we've been in boardrooms or different places. But I am really excited to connect with therapists yet again in person. And I am really, really excited to meet with therapists who want to be in proximity and not sitting on an island by themselves and who want to go hard and go big and not allow external circumstances to dictate the livelihood of your business. Hello. If you with me, come on and secure your spot for the live event for 2026. All right, bye.